In the 1960s, America was a nation divided. The civil rights movement was in full swing, but so were the forces of segregation, racism, and inequality. Against this backdrop, two athletes stood on the world stage and made a statement so powerful it echoed across history. This is the story of the 1968 Olympics Black Power Salute. By 1968, the fight for equality in America was at a boiling point. The assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. that year had sent shockwaves across the nation, sparking grief and anger. Amid this unrest, athletes Tommie Smith and John Carlos were preparing for the Olympics in Mexico City. For them, the Games weren't just about competition. They were an opportunity to make a stand. The 1968 Summer Olympics began in Mexico City with a spirit of unity and athleticism. But beneath the surface, the Games were already political. Protests against apartheid in South Africa had led to the country being banned from competing. And for Smith and Carlos, their personal mission was clear: use their platform to call attention to the racial injustices in the United States. On October 16, 1968, Tommie Smith won gold in the 200-meter sprint, setting a world record of 19.83 seconds. John Carlos earned the bronze medal. Both men knew this was their moment. But it wasn't just about medals. It was about sending a message to the world. During the medal ceremony, Smith and Carlos stepped onto the podium in black socks, without shoes, to represent black poverty. Smith wore a black scarf for black pride, while Carlos wore beads to honor those who had been lynched. Then, as the national anthem played, both men raised their fists in a gesture of black power and solidarity. The image of their raised fists became one of the most iconic symbols of the fight for racial justice. But their protest was met with outrage. The International Olympic Committee called it a political act and demanded their removal from the Games. Smith and Carlos were expelled from the Olympic Village and sent home. Their protest wasn't just condemned by the IOC, but also by much of the American public. They received death threats and struggled to find work after the Games. Despite the backlash, they stood by their actions. Smith and Carlos's protest reflected the broader struggle for equality in America. In 1968, racial tensions were high. African Americans faced systemic racism, economic inequality, and violence. Their salute was a call for justice, not just for black people in America, but for oppressed people everywhere. Decades later, Smith and Carlos's act of defiance remains a symbol of courage. It paved the way for athletes to use their platforms to advocate for social change. In 2005, they were honored with a statue at San Jose State University, a testament to their bravery. The Black Power Salute was more than a protest. It was a call for dignity, justice, and equality. Today, it reminds us that standing up for what is right often comes with a cost, but the impact can last forever. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, keep learning and stay inspired.